Hi guys, welcome to our channel. This is me, Rima.
I'm Emily.
And I'm Jaley.
And guys, we have just watched The Little Mermaid. You can check out that video. It should be already up now. We did a full movie reaction. So if you want to see the full movie reaction with us of The Little Mermaid, we're watching all these Disney classics. It's on Patreon. The link is down below. Just click for $1. It's been $1 since we started this channel, and we have no plans to change it. So click for $1, join us, grab your snacks, and watch it. This video, as you can see with the title, is going to be a little different. It's going to be a little interesting, and we're hoping, or I'm hoping, we can develop this as we watch more of these classic movies. So this is Ursula versus the Evil Queen. So we are I know we're revisiting some Disney villains, and I've made my voice sound weird for
I liked
this
it.
intro.
Honestly, I was into
Yes.
it.
So maybe I'll speak
Yeah.
like this for a bit longer. We are looking at the evil queens and deciding which one shall it be. Is it
Do we
Ursula?
all need an evil voice?
I know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm dressed in purple. I don't know. Both of them actually wear purple. I mean, if somebody can put Fred, if you want to put an
Purple and
image
black.
of, I know, purple and black. So is it Ursula with her tentacles, or is it the evil queen with her cackle? Maybe insert cackle. Who knows? But she had a weird cackle when she transformed. But
Hags cackle.
but yeah, coming to it, we're going to discuss it because, again, guys, we've seen Snow White, and again, you can check out the video review reaction, and we saw Little Mermaid recently. We are going to watch the live action version, so maybe we'll have a few more things to add when we see the adaptation. And I don't know, Melissa, I think, forget her last name.
Melissa McCarthy.
McCarthy, yes, she plays the incredible actress. She plays Ursula, so I'm very excited to see her version. But guys, guys, let's get into this. And what are your thoughts? We'll talk about each of the queens' similarity differences, and then we'll decide who we think is the evil one. So let's start out with talking about the evil queen from Snow White, right? We're going to give her precedence because she was the original evil queen, the one from the first, Disney's feature-length film. Our thoughts on the evil queen, and then we'll get into Ursula. What are your thoughts for her?
I feel like her thing was just that she's vain.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
let me put a little bit of criterion so that we can judge them on their evilness. So let's talk about what makes her truly evil, and does she deserve our title, our award, which she's, I'm sure, clamoring for. Our award, because she loves the mirror and she loves validation. Does she deserve the title of being the most evil, the most wicked in the land?
you know,
Your thoughts on her evilness?
I think it depends what you think is worse. Like, do you think it's worse to be in an eternal sleep and buried alive? Or is it worse to be like someone's like little wormy little slave your entire life and just exist on the floor,
Or eaten?
So
I don't
I
know
think
what
one's
she
like
does with them.
I
Yeah.
think I think the first one you die, and the second one you
Yeah.
just have to exist forever.
I
Yeah,
know.
that's
You were
pretty bad.
That's something we have to think about, their modus operandi. But just to give some context, so like a summary, if you don't know the evil queens, of course, evil queen from Snow White, she was the queen of the land. We didn't know if there was a king. We talked about this, if you see in our review video, that we don't know if that skeleton was the king and the king is dead and she killed him. But she is obsessed with looking the fairest, or the prettiest, I would assume, in the land. And Jaley, I think you brought up some deep points about how it's not about fairness just on the surface, but internally, and clearly she lacked that. And she envied her stepdaughter, Snow White, who she treated like a slave, just, cleaning things. So her whole thing was beauty. She wanted to be the most beautiful in the land, and she was willing to do anything, including send one of her men, her henchmen or huntsmen, to kill Snow White, get her heart.
Bring back her heart in this.
And then when that didn't work, she decided to transform herself into an evil witch and get that poisoned apple.
Won't have a bite.
Kind of makes Snow White die, I guess, death, or the death of sleep, or the sleep of death, or whatever, and which can only be broken by love's true kiss. So that was the evil queen. Do we think her plot was, really Machiavellian, or do we really think that she, Was she terrifying? What did you guys feel? Was she able to induce fear? Or what are
I
your
mean, she
thoughts general
she
on
was
her?
kind of spooky. I think it's a little hard to compare because like I don't think we really got much info about the evil queen,
That's true. That's
whereas
true.
Ursula had so much more personality.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
she was just I mean, it was kind of like suggested that people have known that she's been evil for a while, like she's into this dark magic.
Yeah.
Um, but they hadn't really like talked about like what she had done to get
Hmm.
that title, whereas like Ursula had very clearly imprisoned all of these people
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think,
and had gotten kicked from the court for trying to rule the ocean.
yeah.
I feel like this first evil
She's
queen
mysterious.
kind of moves in silence. I feel like she is more independent. Like she has less henchmen because I feel like more people don't like her. Like I feel
Yeah.
like Ursula people don't like her, but she's got her two like eels, and she knows what she wants.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
she is willing to make deals and make it happen. Whereas this other woman just wants like one thing, and she just wants to be the prettiest girl out there, and when she's not, she just like she gets desperate. And I think she gets I don't want to say stupid, but I think she could have been a little bit more smart in the way that she wanted to get rid of her foe.
But
Mm.
I kind of feel like, doesn't that almost make her more scary because she's almost deranged in a weird way? Like she is sort of so
Fair.
obsessed over her beauty and just this one mirror on the wall. What I find interesting about the evil queen, I was going to say as we were talking about her, and I think guys, we're going to just have a free flow of a conversation because I feel like there are questions in my mind, but I think it'll just come out better if we just let ourselves talk, and we always have a lot to say. But coming to the evil queen, what is interesting about her, she's very icy, she's very cold, she's very
Mhm.
mysterious. And when the movie opens, we don't get much context, like you said, Jaylee. Like, we don't know her background, we don't know how she got there,
Mhm.
how she became in power. She and Ursula have one thing in common: they're both witches, and there are murmurs in the land. I mean, with Ursula's case, it's more established, the sea witch, she's called that. And in Snow White, I think the queen being a witch is almost like gossip, or like, so that's why, like, one of
Yeah.
the, was it Grumpy, who kind of points out that, oh, she's a witch, she's a sorceress. But it's
She
almost
works
like,
in the shadows more.
yeah,
Mm.
but it's not like a
Yeah.
known fact. Like, I think
Uh-huh.
her underground layer is almost like a separate reality that she doesn't let others into, right? So it's like she
Mhm.
goes down the stairs, and then you see that prison where she's got men. I mean, in that way, both of them have prisoners that have starved to death or have been somehow,
Yeah.
captured. But I think the evil queen, to me, I think, even though we don't, like, I mean, I think there's so much in Snow White that you don't always focus on her. I think she is kind of scary because she's so obsessive and she's so secretive and dangerous. Like, you don't know what she's going to
Mhm.
do, right? There is that element to her where she's beautiful and she's dignified and she's poised, but internally that there's so much hatred in her, right?
Mm.
What if the mirror is the real bad guy? What if the
Mm.
mirror has her under a spell and is making her go crazy?
It
Well,
could be. He was giving up way too much information all the
Yeah.
time, so I
I
feel like
know.
he was trying to get her pressed.
I do feel it's interesting, but she is herself, like, she's known to be a witch, a sorceress, but I mean, it could be
Mhm.
that she is also in weird way under the spell of this mirror. I mean, she's definitely obsessed with this mirror. But I kind of feel like, for me, the evil queen, on some level, the terrifying part about her is her single-minded obsession. Like, it's just
Mhm.
kind of like, at least with Ursula, I think we understand her motivation. We see
Mm.
very clearly, like you said, Jaylee, like, she's like, in the review video, you can watch it, guys, we talk about how she's kind of transparent. This is the contract, this is what I want, and I am looking, I mean, she very clearly makes it seem like she's trying to get vengeance, one, for King Triton basically kicking her out of the kingdom. I mean, at one point it seems she was part of the Atlantic world, and at some point he, like, banished her for whatever she did. So she is seeking vengeance, and she's seeking power, which is
Mhm.
Mm.
understandable, right, given her situation. Whereas the evil queen, she's just seeking, like, she wants to kill Snow White or anybody. It doesn't matter who it is. She wants to
Mm.
kill the person to be getting validation from this random magic mirror.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's a lot more messed up, and I think somewhere that unpredictability makes her a little bit more dangerous if you think about her, the fact that you cannot figure her out. Like there is no appeasing her, there is no, like, you don't know what's going to stop her. Even if she were to be successful in killing Snow White, the moment there's another woman, she's going to go out there and start her maybe serial killing rampage,
It's a
right?
good point.
I think
So
I just find her less like I don't know. My favorite types of villains are the
mhm.
ones that I can also like kind of maybe like secretly root for, or be like, oh, that was a good one, or like, oh no,
Right.
you are a bad bitch, like you really did that. And I feel
Yeah.
like and that like, I really enjoyed the first, which is like her look. I thought she had a really
Mhm.
cool intro. I thought she was
Right.
Mm-hmm.
pretty evil. But there's something about Ursula's personality that is just not like not funny, but like she is so amusing, and it's like even when she like is stealing her bushes, she's like, "That's him, Jackson, I got him, boys." It's like, oh,
I know, that's true.
girl, you got her, you did that. I don't know. I just really like
Yeah.
Ursula.
Yeah, she's got more personality. She's a little more likable, but as far as like evilness goes, I think
Yeah, I don't
I don't
know.
know. They're both evil, but Rima, you kind of bring up a good point where
Me
like
too.
she just might be like mentally twisted. Where like Ursula, it just might be in her nature. Um,
Ursula, yeah, I kind of feel like Ursula is definitely like shockingly evil to the lengths that she's willing to go to get what she wants to. Like in the
mm-hmm,
sense that I think firstly her depiction, which I have to mention here because I found this out and I thought it was so cool. Ursula's depiction was actually apparently inspired by this drag queen called Divine. So it was based on, so that's like a lot of her mannerisms, and also I guess she's a man dressed as a woman if you're going by that, like, because her voice is very masculine. So I mean, if she's in drag, so she's a man kind of pretending to be a woman, which I don't know, brings in a lot of other layers, right, to this whole, I don't know, her
I
villainy
don't
or her
know if Disney would have
mannerisms.
been brave enough to do that in the
I mean,
80s.
it
But
kind of
I
says
did
that,
get
but
that
yeah.
feeling. Yeah, I
Yeah.
did get that feeling. I was like, man, it's like a drag queen kind of feeling.
Yeah, because I see this article from Time Magazine which talks about how drag culture inspired The Little Mermaid and Divine.
Mm,
So this is Divine, the man, his real name Harris Glenn Milstead, and he went by the stage name Divine. Was sort of a known in from 1945 to 1988. He was a known actor, drag queen, and singer. So apparently he was the inspiration
Mhm.
for Ursula, which is
that's
interesting,
awesome.
right? Right, like her performance, her over the top theatrical, like you kind of see that now where she's getting
Mm-hmm.
that let's say the stage presence, right? But I feel Ursula is, I mean, Ursula is weirdly like, I mean, the way, if I were to diagnose her, and not that I'm anyone to diagnose anybody, but just out of just the thought and the characterization, she feels more of a sociopath, right? She
Yeah.
feels more of somebody who is like, she's without any qualms, without any regrets, hesitations. I think it's terrifying to see this layer of what, by the way, guys, I have discovered what those little sea creatures were that the merfolk got transformed into. They're polyps, apparently.
Mm.
So this is, and I have another wiki here. It's one or two forms of Psyllum synandria. So what is a sea polyp? It's basic. It's also called a coral, and it's made of tiny animals called polyps. And I can't pronounce. An invertebrate can be no longer than pinhead to up to a foot in diameter, and they have a sac-like body and a mouth that is encircled by stinging tentacles. So no
Does it
wonder
look
they
Ooh.
like
were.
like it's a real looking thing? Does it look like the thing in the movie?
I don't see the image, but if I were to go to images, Google Images, yeah, let me just send this thing to you. Let me send you a picture that I see
Coral
here.
polyps.
Yeah.
No, they
If I
don't
can
look.
say.
I mean, they like stick out, but they've got like little.
Oh, but
All
they're
right, let
really
me send it
cute
here.
though. I have a good
Yeah,
picture.
okay, so you guys see it. Yeah, yeah.
I looked up polyps. Just FYI to any of you guys looking up polyps, make sure you look up coral polyps.
Yes.
That's true. You could land up in
Because
the
regular
other.
polyps brought some
Yeah.
gross body images up.
Yes, we have heard of it biologically for humans too, but different category. But yeah, so she does turn them into these polyps, and I think it's terrifying. Like all the scenes in her lair where she has these little polyps like shaking, and she's like
Mhm.
thundering over them. So she is without any emotions, right? Like I think in that sense, she
Mhm.
is terrifying because she's a sociopath. She doesn't care how she gets what she wants. She's gonna do everything. And like also that scene, right, when we see her. So I feel Disney's depiction of her is definitely way more terrifying. So here's where I want to bring in some points. So both of them are sea witches. Both of them transform themselves into another creature to kind of seduce or manipulate their prey or their target. In
Mhm.
the Evil
Mhm.
Queen's case, it's Snow White. In, of course, Ursula's case, it's Ariel. But I feel like one of them, of course, kind of goes into turning into a hag, and the other one turns into a beautiful creature, Vanessa, like a beautiful
Yeah.
lady. Um,
Mhm.
but I have to say, weirdly, I think the transformation for the Evil Queen was less terrifying, in my opinion. I don't know what you guys think, compared to Ursula's transformation and then back into being that power hungry, octopus or half woman, half octopus. What did you guys think of the two transformations?
I don't from the first movie there you can see the witch turning into the old lady, right? It's more of
Yeah.
like a visceral scene. Is that do we see that as much in Little Mermaid?
No, we don't.
Yeah, so I think that
Mhm.
transformation is more
Horrifying.
iconic
Yeah.
in Snow White. Um but I mean it's so sneaky. If you didn't know that the witch was gonna take that voice and pretend to be that woman because he just saw the outline of her hair. Part of your world. That was so
Yeah.
sneaky. And I didn't notice
Yeah.
that the first time I watched it around that he only really was looking for the voice and that kind of outline. Like that was sneaky.
Yeah, the voice thing was super sneaky. Turning into the old woman, I don't know what the evil queen was thinking because that old woman was creepy as heck. Like,
I wouldn't
she
go
could have
for
turned into a little less creepy of an old lady.
I mean, to me, actually, it wasn't as creepy. Like, I think she almost looked
Well,
like, like she had that little, like the big
she's
eyes and like a
being
little.
creepy. She was like creeping in the window.
I know she had the moments, but I somehow could also pass her off as like a, slightly unattractive. Like, again, no judgment on anybody. We love people of all sizes, shapes, and colors, but I could pass her off as somebody who's just not that good looking, like just sort of a old haggard woman. Whereas I think Ursula, I think in her transformation, like the scenes that we saw of her just now with Little Mermaid, because guys, we just watched the film. I think they were more terrifying. Like the scene, for instance, like
Mhm.
one of the scenes where she is Vanessa and she's singing her crazy song, and Scuttle sees her from that little window, the boat or ship window, and you see like Ursula's face laughing while she's laughing. Like that, I think is pretty.
It's pretty good.
I don't know. If I had Vanessa and the old lady in front of me, though, I'd go with Vanessa all day.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I'd be
That's
like,
true.
you're scary. Me and her can go find a drink. You know?
I suppose you're right, but I think Ursula's transformation after she got discovered, after she lost her ability to seduce as Vanessa, and her
Mhm.
transformation back, like that scene when she's crawling on the ship, I mean, come
When
on.
when she
I
gets
know.
the
It's
powers,
spoopy.
I mean, you get a glimpse of what she would do with that power. And the fact
Oh
that
yeah.
she immediately grows into this titan and makes this world
Oh,
tool and gets ready to
I
kill
know.
Ariel, it's like, okay, no, like I do not want you to have the power. Like you're
I want to
scary.
know what Ursula's like master plan was. Like, I know she
Mm,
wanted Triton's powers so she could rule the sea, but I wonder like what she would have done after
She
that.
wouldn't have
Like, would
stopped
she
there.
have eradicated humans? Would she have just like enslaved
yeah.
everybody?
Probably, right?
Yeah,
But she's
probably.
already
Yeah.
she's done King Triton, so it's just the time that she was planning to. So here's the thing. I mean, both the queens have tried to murder, but Ursula wasn't like averse or wasn't like shy from actually murdering directly, right? Because there was a time when she got the Triton, she was like, whether I have the contract or not, I'm gonna kill you. So she's
Mhm.
not, she's capable of completely murdering you, whereas I guess the evil queen, we see her being a little bit more duplicitous. What's the word?
Yeah, she tried to hire the huntsman to kill her. She tried to like trick her with an apple. I think you're right that the evil queen was a lot more like
subtle.
in the shadows. She was a lot more sneaky. It was just rumor that she did black magic, whereas Ursula was like, I'm evil.
I think Ursula is also like, I think she's just a lot more like, the serial killers who are like very obviously comfortable having like evidence of the horrific things. Like she's not uncomfortable with the ugliness of what she does. Like she kind of inhabits it. She almost relishes in it to look demonic, to look horrific. She doesn't shy away from the ugly. Whereas I think the evil queen was, because maybe she was so obsessed with beauty, she wanted even everything that her evil means to be kind of clean and neat and not, you know what I mean? Like she didn't like sort of, just even her plan to kill Snow White was this beautiful red apple. Like she wants everything to be pretty in some ways. Like she doesn't want, it's like, oh, she's just gonna fall asleep, rather than just use a dagger to kill her. She's like averse to that form of like direct violence or gore. Like she seems way too dainty to wanna, mess her hands or something, or dirty her hands with that, right? So I do think Ursula is a lot more like, I'll get down and dirty and get the job done if I need to.
Yeah.
So in that sense, she's a bit more violent and a bit more like, I'll do what it takes. So here's another interesting fact. Both of them, being witches, they both came up with really interesting, like similar plans in terms of like, one of, the whole idea was they're gonna, one of them wanted to put Snow White to sleep, and the other one was, I'm going to steal your voice, and in 3 days, if you don't make the prince fall in love, you kind of become mine, you become my slave. But their condition
I think it was all to get to Triton.
Yeah, but both of them had like the same loophole, right? It was love's first kiss that would just foil their plan. And I'm beginning to think if they both read like a similar book or something, right? It's like both of them are like, oh, except for love's first kiss. And then it's like, okay. And then the same for Ursula, love's first kiss. That's how you know you're in love.
Sleeping Beauty.
I know. Oh, yeah. It's going to get interesting when we get to Maleficent.
Beauty and the Beast.
That's why I was so confused as a kid. I was like, I met this guy. Should I kiss him right away? Does that mean we're in love? Like,
yeah.
Like, oh, if I kiss him, then I love them. We're gonna get married in 3 days. Like, no.
They're not ready for that.
The implications on, like, warning for children.
Princess and the Frog kiss. It's a lot about kissing.
Yeah, and it's a very flawed plan. So I have to say, for as intelligent as these women were, why not some direct plan to just kill them rather than have like these flawed plans that could be foiled by love's first kiss? So they both kind of, I think, were weak on that as far as villainy goes, or whatever.
I definitely think that Ursula didn't think that it would actually like work.
Yeah,
she didn't know how charming Ariel could be.
I mean, to be fair, her thing was to first get Ariel, like snare Ariel and manipulate her with a contract, and then kind of, her thing was not so much to kill Ariel. Like, I don't think that was important to her as much as, getting the kingdom.
Her Triton to, She knew that Triton would sacrifice himself for her.
So it made more sense for her to be like, well, this is the spell I'm going to use to trap this girl. But in the case of the evil queen, it's like, you want to kill this woman, do something more drastic. Though, to be fair, she did try to get the heart of Snow White and wasn't successful. So maybe she thought poisoning is gonna be.
I think and then the evil queen underestimated how like sweet Snow White is, because Snow White left such an impression on the dwarves that they couldn't bury her. Right, like the evil queen thought.
That is true. They did have some circumstances against them. Destiny was not on their, or luck was not on their side, thankfully. But yeah, I think, both were manipulative. They definitely had similar flaws in their plan. So now I guess let's just decide, ladies, who is it going to be? Who is the more evil Disney villain?
Let's say it at the same time.
Okay, evil queen.
Oh gosh, it's hard.
All right. Let's say it, and then we can give our reasons if we differ. All right, and why we did what we did. Okay, guys, if you're watching us, you say it along which one you pick or write in the comments below. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Ursula.
Evil
Ursula.
Queen.
Oh,
we have
sorry,
a
Jaley.
dissenter. Okay.
Jaley. Let's
Jaley,
hear it.
you go first. Yeah.
It was all you, Rima. At first, I was like Ursula for sure.
Yeah.
Ursula without a doubt. But like after just like talking about it, like I think like I love Ursula more as a character,
Right.
for sure. Like Ursula all day. She's
Yeah.
funny. She's just great. But then you're talking about how like the evil queen was straight up murder someone.
Yeah.
Like Ursula was like I'm oh, but gosh, it's so hard because she's also imprisoning people. Now I feel like changing my mind because the imprisoning forever is pretty bad. But the evil queen's just so sneaky, and I like a sneaky villain that's not like so
unpredictable,
overly evil, you know? Like
I agree with you, but
she's realistic evil.
I think Ursula is a smarter villain. I think that
totally.
she knew by doing what she did, she would be able to get to the king. I feel like the queen immediately assumed, she's like, "Oh, I got the heart. I got her heart. I went," but it was literally a pig's heart.
The heart of a pig. Then I've been tricked.
It's like, come on, girl, you do dark magic and you can't tell this is a pig's heart?
I think it's just like her reasoning is so stupid. Like you have to be evil. like Ursula she's got ambition. She's a girl with she wants to be a ruler. She's hustling, whereas the evil queen is just like, I just want to be beautiful. And I'm like, that's pretty evil of you to want to ruin this poor girl's life.
I do
just
think
because a mirror says that she's prettier than you. Like that's pretty underhanded. You're kind of the worst.
Okay, so here's my diagnosis. I'm being Dr. Rima, which I mean, again, guys, I have no medical degree. I'm just joking around, so don't take this too seriously. But if I were to diagnose the evil queen, I think she has like more of the narcissistic personality, right? She's more of that, the disorder, whatever. She's obsessed. She's just thinking about herself to the point of delusion, right? And then you have Ursula, who's a sociopath. Both are evil, but I think I do see what you're saying, and I think that's a point that I raised, but I do kind of understand that there's something terrifying about the unpredictability of the evil queen, because nothing seems to satisfy her, and this is a mental problem, so she's not going to stop. You know what I mean?
She put a cup that didn't even have water in it just out of hand's reach of that skeleton in the cell.
Thirsty? Have a drink.
Here's what I feel.
That's pretty evil.
Yeah.
At least all the little polyp guys could have a little polyp party. They're all together.
That's a polyp party.
I mean, I am like secretly terrified that Ursula does eat them. So I don't know. Maybe it is. If you guys can let me know if there's more parts to this and you know more about Ursula, because she's part of the Disney Little Mermaid series as well. But let us know in the comments more about her. But I guess like the unpredictability, the insanity of the evil queen does make her terrifying, because she's never gonna stop. She's never gonna stop. She's just, I think, when she died, spoiler alert, in the actual film, that was the best possible outcome, because she was just so deranged, and she was so obsessed with this idea, this insane idea. Like, it kind of reminds me back in the days when you'd hear of like queens who would soak in blood, or they would kill young women because they wanted to have eternal beauty. So she is demonic and scary in that sense, and terrifying. Whereas Ursula, I think the motivations are a bit more clear. She is terrifying to look at, and how she goes about doing things is like ruthless and whatever, but there is a method in her madness. I think
she's scarier. Ursula is definitely scarier.
Yeah, a scarier presence. But I think tentacles. The evil queen, I think, is more, so I think they both have their evil, but I feel it is more terrifying to watch Ursula on screen, for sure. But none of us want to meet the evil queen either. I mean, this lady, she looks all pretty and nice, but she is terrifying.
Oh gosh, now I'm flipping back and forth, because like in Poor Unfortunate Souls, like Ursula talks about how she preys on people's dreams. She's like, "Oh, I'll help you do that, but there's a catch," and that's pretty evil too.
She stalks them. She stalks her victims. She finds out. She researches them.
She makes their dreams come true, and then she squashes them. Man, that's hard. There's a
It's
hard
hard.
choice.
I mean, she's
Maybe,
not
maybe.
deranged
I
though.
mean,
Like,
Ursula. Yeah, I think
yeah,
the evil queen's definitely deranged, and maybe it's like a mental thing. Whereas
yeah.
Ursula's just like, I'm evil.
I know.
Deal with it.
Yeah, and she's funny too, so she can seduce you with her humor, and then you're like, oh god, you're horrific. All right, guys, we were a bit torn in this decision. You tell us, who do you think is the worst or the scarier, more evil Disney villain? And we'll of course be watching more such movies, so we will maybe have more contenders. Scar, we have a few others who are in that list. But let us know your thoughts, and of course follow Jaley, Emily, myself. Social media links down below. Join our Patreon. Watch the full unedited reaction. It's all available only for $1. And we shall see you next time.
Next time.
Bye.